Shalom, back again with another lesson. Before I begin this lesson, I'd like to begin by first giving all honor, glory, and praises unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Racha Kodash. I'm going to give double honors to my elders and apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone, who rule well, where I've learned this truth from. I want to say peace and salutations to you, Akim, you brothers out there laboring, pushing this word out in all truth and in sincerity, presenting your bodies as a living sacrifice, which is your reasonable service. I want to say shalom to you, Akwaf, you Israelite sisters that may be listening, and also to you Israelites that are scattered across the four corners of the earth. You may look like these other nations, but your seed line goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, which is the chosen seed line. Shalom. So I was on social media today. I haven't been on social media all day today, so I've missed quite a bit. But when I went on social media, I can see that a lot's happened in Iran, right? Iran's been busy. Now, yet again, another F-15 US fighter jet has been downed, and you had two pilots that had to eject over Iranian soil. So now, you have these Iranians looking for these pilots, right? So I'm going to play some clips because obviously there's a lot of footage showing you that they had a search and rescue for these pilots, right? Now, one of them has been supposedly rescued, right? According to the news, that one of the pilots was rescued, but then there's still another pilot that's still out there, right? Now, one of the craziest things, it sounds like a movie. Like, if you ever see that movie Black Hawk Down, where the helicopter crashed and they were surrounded in enemy territory. That's like this pilot, right? They'd probably make a movie out of it, in a few years if we're still around, right? But yeah, so this pilot is on the run, and it just so happens it's like when things get bad, things get worse, right? Something always comes around that makes things even more worse, right? So on the Iranian state news, right? So Iranian news media they did a news report to say, hey, if anybody catches this pilot, there'll be a great reward for you, right? So I'll play that clip just to show you that things just went from bad to worse for this pilot that's still out there.
توجه بفرمایید بینندگان عزیز، توجه بفرمایید اهالی استان کهگیلوی و بویراحمد، مردم عزیز و غیرتمند، اگر خلبان یا خلبانان دشمن را دستگیر و زنده تحویل نیروهای انتظامی و نظامی دهید، مژدگانی و پاداشی ارزشمند دریافت می‌کنید.
So whether he makes it or not, it's still to be seen, right? But as we continue, right, you're hearing a lot of anger towards America, right? Anger towards Donald Trump and his MAGA, the MAGA people are angry at Trump. Everybody's angry at Trump. With the fact that America and Israel started this war with Iran, they bit off way more than they can chew. And although Donald Trump keeps saying that America's won the war, it still seems that Iran still has its military capability, and they're able to down an F-15 fighter jet, right? So America is clear that Donald Trump is lying to the American people, and they can all see it, right? So, I'm going to play a clip, right? Because I thought this was quite funny, right? But this is the MAGA supporters. This is how they're feeling right now.
You won, Trump. Go away. You've done it. You have all money. Your name is going to be on every kind of dollar that we make. You've won. You've done it.
Money.
It's victory. Trump, I will agree. You could have it on there for the rest of your life. Just leave. Go home. You've won. Money is yours. You claimed it. Your name. You have your own currency. American currency is now yours.
Trump bucks.
You've won. Go away.
It's what you always wanted.
Get the hell. You did it.
Your name on money.
You've accomplished it. You've done it all.
Trump.
Go. Bye. You did it. There's nothing else. How can you talk that? You are money. Money is you. Done. Just leave the damn White House. Get out. You won.
He ain't gonna go.
I know.
So you see, they're done with Trump, and they're absolutely done with him. Now their people, right? Their people are sick of him, right? But not only are the MAGA supporters sick of Donald Trump, you now have these other countries, these other nations that are worried and are losing sleep over the energy crisis that Donald Trump, America, and Israel have started. Of course.
Some major news. A number of world leaders have come out and warned about what's to come next in the Iran war, with multiple of them saying that the information they have keeps them awake at night. That is certainly not something you ever want to hear. The South Korean president said the world is in turmoil over the energy crisis. The situation is so serious that it has even kept me up at night. The immediate problem is grave enough, but the outlook ahead seems even more unstable. The situation is worse than expected. Italy's defense minister said, I am forced to know things about what could happen in the coming week and the effects it will have on the economy and our daily lives that no longer allows me to sleep. So multiple leaders in different countries, in different positions of power, all saying the same thing, that things are about to get worse and it keeps them up at night. And you can thank Donald Trump for putting us in this situation.
Because one, you have the Strait of Hormuz that was closed, right? You also have the Bab al-Mandab Strait, which is over there by Yemen. If they're getting ready to close that off too. Now, if that hasn't already been closed, that's going to cause even more of a ruckus. Now, the Bab al-Mandab is over there by the Red Sea, right? So where you have the Strait of Hormuz, where the oil comes from, and then they go up the Bab al-Mandab Strait, which leads them up the Red Sea to the Suez Canal, right? Now, that's being closed off. So not only is that going to cause problems for the oil, it's going to delay it, right? And I still also see a report on social media that the pipeline that goes from the UAE to Iraq has been blown up. Iran blew it up.
Iran just bombed the most important oil pipeline in the world, and now the UAE will no longer be able to export their oil. And the UAE was actually bypassing Iran's closure of the Strait of Hormuz by using this oil pipeline. But now it's been blown up, and the UAE might declare war on Iran because of this. Well, a few moments ago, satellite pictures came out showing the UAE's Habshan Fujairah oil pipeline. This oil pipeline moves the UAE's oil from where they produce the oil in the eastern part of their country all the way to the western part of their country, where they export it. Now, due to Iran closing the Strait of Hormuz, the UAE was working with Saudi Arabia to send it from the UAE, from eastern Saudi Arabia, all the way to western Saudi Arabia, to the port of Yanbu. That was using Saudi Arabia's brand new pipeline that they unveiled. However, Iran just stopped the UAE from being able to do that and getting around Iran's closure of the Strait of Hormuz. And by the satellite pictures that have come out today, we can see that Iran has carried out at least 2 strikes against this oil pipeline in the UAE. And because of these attacks, it's now completely stopped the UAE from being able to transport their oil through the pipelines from the eastern parts of their country to the western parts. And this means they don't even have a way to get it to Saudi Arabia, let alone to export it by western Saudi Arabia. And so Iran has cut off the head of the snake here.
ضاعت المولى تواجد أصحى عرش عزة تهز وتجري عليه رزق عيش شعيرك اللي لك عز من قمر تشهد من منير وكبرت جنحتها الوسمي.
So now that pipeline that's carrying all the oil to Iraq, to go through the pipeline through Iraq, like the pipeline that's coming from the UAE has been blown up. So again, it's more trouble for the nations out there. Like Iran is not playing. Iran, they thought it was going to be an easy fight, but Iran's showing that it ain't as easy as you think, right? And this is why a lot of the military cabinet, or whoever they are in America, were warning against going to war with Iran. And what did Trump do? Trump fired them all and got his own people in, like Pete Hegseth, right? Now, you have a lot of Americans again, which I'll play you another clip, showing that Americans are sick and tired of these, this Trump administration, because Pete Hegseth, they're saying that he's committing war crimes, right? So I'm gonna play this clip, and they'll be able to explain a little bit more about it. But they're blowing up the civilian bridges in Iran, right, which is a war crime. But check it
First of
out.
all, I know active duty Marines who now refer to Pete Hegseth's department as the Department of War Crimes. That's because under Pete Hegseth's leadership, they do things like this. Destroy civilian infrastructure, which, just to be clear, is a war crime. It's meant to hurt civilians. This is the same stuff that we criticize Vladimir Putin for doing in Ukraine. For years, we've attacked Putin because he's the one who's taking out civilian infrastructure in Ukraine, targeting civilian areas, targeting cities, targeting electrical generating plants, exactly something that the President of the United States called for last night in his address. And this is all because Donald Trump has no plan to end this war that he started and is now losing. He is losing this war of choice that he began in Iran. I mean, remember, just a few months ago, the Strait of Hormuz was open. Oil was about half the cost it is today. And he now is beholden to Iran. He's even pleading with China to try to open the Strait of Hormuz. So he's kicked the hornet's nest, he's got his foot stuck in it, and he doesn't know how to get out. So what is he doing? He's resorting to war crimes. It's an embarrassment.
So as you can see, a lot of these countries are mad at Donald Trump about the straits being closed. And, you got the American public, the American civilians, mad at the administration, Donald Trump. Like, this whole thing is a mess, right? But, the issue with the straits and why these other countries are angry is because, one, their farming industry, the agricultural industry, they can't get their fuel for their farming equipment. So like the diesel fuel for the farming equipment. And not only are they not receiving the fuel, they're also not receiving the fertilizers that they need. So it's one problem after the other, right? So again, I'm going to read in the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 6, and it reads, ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. It says, for nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famines, and pestilences, and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. So this is just the beginning, right? Now, we are in the thick of this war with Iran, and it's heating up, because obviously they've shot the F-15 US fighter jet out of the air, right? But they've also targeted the infrastructure, right? So they had like a cyber warfare that Iran is waging on America as well, and they've attacked one of the Amazon cloud AI infrastructures in the UAE.
در صورت عملی شدن تهدیدات آمریکا در خصوص نیروگاه‌های ایران بلافاصله اقدامات تنبیهی انجام خواهد شد. همه نیروگاه‌های برق، زیرساخت‌های انرژی و فناوری اطلاعات رژیم صهیونیستی و شرکت‌های مشابه در منطقه که سهامدار آمریکایی دارند به طور کامل تخریب خواهند شد.
So they've attacked these cloud, these data centers, and now they're getting ready to wage war on the internet, right? So that's another thing that we have to look forward to. So again, a lot of these countries are looking at Donald Trump like, you started this, you started this whole thing back in Israel. Israel was the one that launched the first attack, and you backed them, So you started this thing. And, starting with the head apostles and elders, and bishops of Great Millstone, they've been telling us for decades that, hey, get ready. This is what's going to happen, right? So I'm going to read in the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 3. Get straight to the point. It says, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry." So to tarry means to delay, right? So, the elders and apostles, like I mentioned, and like-minded brothers out there on the highways and hedges, been saying the same thing for a long time. And people, I always keep saying that, and nothing's happened. It's like, yeah, though it delays, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not delay, meaning it's here now. So most likely, if you haven't repented, you have no covering, right? But us that are in this truth, in this knowledge, in this faith, we have to now rely on the Lord. Like, this is the part where faith is going to have to, we're going to have to start relying on faith. The faith is going to have to kick in. It's about to get ugly, like really ugly out here, right? So I want to bring out this scripture in the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 2. I'll start from the top, verse 1, right? And it reads, "My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. Set thy heart aright and constantly endure, and make not haste in time of trouble." Right? So don't be so hasty to leave when it starts getting rough. Don't think that, you can do it without the Lord. You have to stick with the Lord, man. Trust in the Lord, right? Verse 3 says, "Cleave unto him and depart not away." Right? So don't leave the Lord. You're covered when you stick with the Lord, right? So it says, "Cleave unto him and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased by thy last end. Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a lower state." So if you're changed to a lower state, if you're going through hard times, don't be so quick to turn away from the Lord, right? Whatever happens to you, just take cheerfully. If you lose all your possessions, take it cheerfully, because the Lord can restore you. If you look at the book of Job, look how the Lord, took away everything from Job, but then restored him at the end, because Job didn't falter. He had integrity. Verse 5 says, "For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity." It says, "Believe in him, and he will help thee. Order thy way aright, and trust in him." And that's the key. We have to trust in the Lord in these days ahead, right? It's going to be needed. Trust me, it's going to be needed. Verse 7 says, "Ye that fear the Lord, wait for his mercy, and go not aside lest ye fall." When you think about the story of Peter when he was walking on water towards Yahushua, right? He was walking on the water until he started losing faith, and then he started to sink, right? So the Lord is saying here in verse 7, it says, "Ye that fear the Lord." So all you that have this truth, that know the truth, "Ye that fear the Lord, wait for his mercy." Right? So you have to wait on the Lord. So when you think you're in trouble, just wait on the Lord. The Lord's going to help you. It says, "Ye that fear the Lord, wait for his mercy, and go not aside lest ye fall." What did Peter do? Peter went aside and started to sink, right? And that's what we have to, we take those stories so we can understand them and learn from them, right? Now verse 8, it says, "Ye that fear the Lord, believe him, and your reward shall not fail. Ye that fear the Lord, hope for good, and for everlasting joy and mercy." And that's what we're hoping for. We're hoping for everlasting joy and everlasting mercy, right? It says, verse 10, it says, "Look at the generations of old and see." All right? Again, now you're thinking about the story of Job. You take into consideration the story of Peter walking on the water, right? Look at the generations of old and see. Did ever any trust in the Lord and was confounded? Did anybody ever trust in the Lord and was confounded? Absolutely not. That's a rhetorical question, because we know the answer is no. It says, "Or did any abide in his fear and was forsaken?" Again, that's a rhetorical question. "Or whom did he ever despise that called upon him?" No one. It says, "For the Lord is full of compassion and mercy, long suffering, and very pitiful, and forgiveth sins, and saveth in the time of affliction. So the Lord will help you out in the time of your affliction. When you're going through it, trust in the Lord, right? We got to be laser focused on the Lord. Repent, believe in Him, trust in Him, and He'll see you through it, right? Now, this is the outcome for those that don't trust the Lord, right? It says, "Woe be to fearful hearts and faint hands, and the sinner that goeth two ways. Woe unto him that is faint hearted, for he believeth not, therefore shall he not be defended." You see? So if you don't have the faith, the Lord ain't gonna defend you. You're just gonna be out here trying to figure it out, right? Verse 14 says, "Woe unto you that have lost patience, and what will ye do when the Lord shall visit you?" Now we understand the Lord is visiting this place. That's why we're seeing everything starting to spiral out of control. It's getting worse and worse and worse, right? So, I'm going to leave it there because I just wanted to quickly touch on that point, because it's getting to to boiling point, right? You got Russia or the Chechenian forces talking about they're ready to join Iran.
Iranian state media is now claiming that combat units from Russia's Chechen Republic have declared themselves ready to deploy to Iran if the United States launches a ground invasion. According to Press TV, these forces are loyal to Chechen leader Ramzan Kadyrov and have told Tehran they will fight alongside the Iranian armed forces if US troops move beyond air and missile strikes onto Iranian soil. The reports describe the ongoing US-Israeli war against Iran as a religious war and say the Chechen side is framing any direct intervention as a jihad, a battle of good versus evil in defense of the Islamic Republic.
So Chechnya wants to get involved to aid Iran. You've got North Korea that's handing out friggin' ICBMs like Skittles.
500. Here is why that number should terrify you. The United States, the world's most powerful military, currently operates just 400 land-based ICBMs for its entire nuclear deterrent. That means Iran, a country that has been under sanctions for decades, now possesses more long-range strategic missiles than America does. But it gets worse. These are not old liquid-fueled missiles that take hours to prepare for launch. These are Hwasong 18s, North Korea's most advanced solid-fuel ICBMs. They are road mobile, they are hidden, and they are ready to fire in minutes. And they can reach Tel Aviv. They can reach every American base in the Middle East. They can reach London, Paris, Berlin, and yes, they can reach the continental United States.
1-8 intercontinental ballistic missiles, the most advanced solid-fuel ICBM that North Korea has ever produced. A weapon system that during its test launches in 2023 demonstrated a range capability exceeding 15,000 kilometers, sufficient to reach not just Israel, not just American bases across the Middle East, but the continental United States itself. 500 of them transferred in a covert logistics operation of breathtaking scale and audacity, now sitting in hardened underground facilities across Iranian territory, fueled, targeted, and ready. Let that number settle for a moment. 500. The United States currently deploys approximately 400 Minuteman III ICBMs in its entire land-based nuclear deterrence force. The number that Iran has just received from Pyongyang exceeds America's entire ground-based strategic nuclear delivery inventory.
You know what I mean? Like talking about, these missiles, or these ICBMs, to reach America, right? So it's hotting up, man. It's heating up, and it's getting ready to be another thing, right? Well, like I say, I'm gonna leave it there. I pray that this lesson has been edifying through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. I want to give double honors to my elders and apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone who rule well, where I've learned this truth from. I want to say peace and salutations to you hopeful elect, and it's on to the next one, Lord willing. Shalom.